Hello, what's up guys? Your guy Promzy once again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are talking about the financial structures in Germany, mostly for international students. We are going to talk about insurance, banking, credit card, taxi systems, funds, investment, real estate, and the taxi systems here in Germany. Since these stuffs are a little bit technical and most students don't have in-depth knowledge when they come to Germany, they end up buying any product that's on the market. So today we are going to speak with an expert who's going to break things down a little bit for us to understand how the financial structures and systems in Germany works. So if you're ready for this video, stay tuned. Hello, what's up guys? Welcome back once again to my channel. So like I said before, we are talking more about financial stuff in this video. So I will give our host, a very fine young gentleman, to introduce himself, his name, what he studied in Germany, what he's doing right now, and a little bit of introduction. So, boss, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Promzy. My name is Uyafe. I studied economics and finance here in Germany, in Frankfurt, University of Frankfurt at Goethe. This was from 2017 to 2019. Yeah. And then after that, currently I'm working as a financial advisor, Finanzberater. I am self-employed. That means I work with individuals, I work with households to help them think through their finances and develop a financial plan based on their goals, and then I help them to also execute the financial plan. What's the goal? The goal is to make sure that people understand the German financial system, especially people who are not too conversant with the language on one side, and then with finance as well, to help them understand the system and then how they can use the system to their advantage.
Oh, okay. So that's nice. I think I did a video where I spoke about some challenges international students face here in Germany. And one of the main challenges for international students is finance. So it's very good we are having this discussion so that people can learn from the expert. So what are your main strongholds? You know, finance, they don't do everything. I hope there are some parts you are more knowledgeable. So which structures of the financial institutions are you more knowledgeable on so that we can coin our conversation around it?
Okay, so before we begin with the main meat of the conversation, I want to put out a disclaimer that the discussion today is of an educational nature and it does not replace professional investment or tax advice. Any mentions or calculations or discussions of individual financial products or strategies do not necessarily constitute an investment recommendation, and it's or a recommendation on how to organize your individual tax affairs. You can't make any claims as a result of this discussion for damages resulting from the application of what you hear as discussed today.
Consider yourself warned.
Now back to your question. So you could say I'm a generalist. When it comes to finance in Germany, or personal and household finance in Germany, there are four main pillars, and I cover all those four pillars. There's banking, insurance, real estate, and there is investment. I cover all those. But from an academic point of view, then I would say my strong side will be in investments. That's what I studied during my master's here. Yeah.
Okay, now, since most of my people, my viewers are students, I want our conversation to be more student-oriented. You know, there are some policies that, of course, it's usually for businessmen or big people. So I want us to be more focused on students. So with banking, you know, coming from an African country like Ghana, Nigeria, our banking system is very different from the one in the diaspora, as in Europe and in the America, especially when it comes to credit cards. I have been using credit card in Germany for some time now, but I didn't have any knowledge before using credit card. So since you are here, I want you to tell us a little bit more about credit card, how to go about it, especially for those of us who are coming from Africa, where we don't have these systems in our country. So I want us to talk more on credit card regarding the banking stuff.
Sure. So for the typical student here, my expectation is that they are financial needs are relatively simple. Opening a current account, so here we call it a giro konto, and if they are able to put some money aside regularly, they can open a sparkonto, a savings account. When it comes to credit cards, for a student who probably is not, working full time and it's only making a little bit money here and there from the side, I strongly advise against the use of credit cards. They can easily become a debt trap if you don't manage it well. For instance, like you said, you were not conversant with what the whole credit card system was about. It's very, very easy for you to get a false understanding of it and then run with that to get into a debt trap. So my first advice is, if at all possible, avoid use of credit cards. Someone might say, well, I need to buy something on the internet. And well, there are now solutions that don't let you borrow and you use your own money. So there are cards now. What I'm saying is there are cards now that are debit cards, but they function exactly as credit cards do without the credit part of it. Yeah. Okay. So you pay an annual fee, you load your own money on it, and then you can use it to do transactions online or in person, just like you would have done with a credit card. The main thing is, if you can, avoid the use of credit cards. That being said, credit cards are tools that were developed to make transactions easier. Yeah. And the way they fundamentally work is that they give you the ability to use, if you like, the bank's money to make purchases within a given period. So within, say, a calendar month, and then a few days after the calendar month has ended, you are expected to pay all the purchases that you made with your credit card off. If within this grace period you don't pay the balance on your credit card off, the balance then starts accruing interest. The interest doesn't start after the 30 days or the grace period. The interest starts from the first day that you start using the credit card.
Wow.
And to boot, the interest rate on credit cards, well, maybe in Ghanaian terms, they are not exorbitant. We may see them as, okay. But here in the developed world terms, they are exorbitant. Why do I say that? Or what does that actually mean? The typical credit card interest rate is about 20%, 19.99%, which is 20%. Or you could even find those for 23.99, 24.99. That's 20% interest on whatever balance you've not paid off after the grace period from the beginning of when you made that purchase. Like I was saying, for us from Ghana or other African countries, in Ghana, for instance, interest rates have been for a long time in the 20s. So yeah, you might think this is okay. But in this dispensation here, if you were to go to a normal bank to borrow, for instance, if you have an overdraft on your account, you are looking at maybe 5 to 10%, depending on your credit. When I say your credit, I mean your credit worthiness. If you were to take a normal personal loan, same, it depends on your credit worthiness. So for you to essentially use credit and pay more than 2 times, at least what you would have paid on a normal personal loan on a credit card, it's absolutely a no-no. And it keeps, if you're not able to then pay the initial, the starting balance that you started with off, every month you continue buying, it keeps on accumulating interest. So the main thing is avoid it if you can.
Okay.
If you still want to use the functions of a credit card, there are debit card products that function like a credit card now that you can use.
So are there any advantages of credit cards? I heard there are a lot of downsides of it, but are there any advantages of a credit card, like having a credit card?
Of course there are, otherwise they will not have been developed as a product. It makes payments easier. But like I said, now, even that advantage, other products have come that don't have the disadvantages of a credit card that have this advantage. Secondly, depending on which credit card you use, some of them come with a lot of additional programs. There are some credit cards that you get cash back when you make purchases. So for instance, you say for every dollar you spend on this credit card, you get maybe 1 cent cash back. So in the year, if you spend $100 or euros,
Yeah.
you get its equivalent in as a cashback at the end of the year. So that could be considered as an advantage. There are some that have partnership with airlines. So if you book flights with that, you get some advantages. There are some that even have insurances at the back of them. So if you travel and you get into a situation, you can use, because you have that credit card, you can claim on the insurance that is attached to that credit card. So of course, those all come with fees. So when you hear, oh, this credit card has an annual fee of so and so, the fees are used to cover some of these additional programs. But yes, they have the advantage. If you really know how to use a credit card well, and you select the credit card program that is appropriate for your lifestyle, it could be advantageous.
Okay. I think I did a video for some credit cards for students that are available for students here in Germany. Like you said, going for a credit card, it has some benefits and some negative, especially if you are not very disciplined. So before you go in for a credit card, make sure you know that you are a little bit self-disciplined to stick with the payment plan. Other than that, you end up paying interest over and over and over again. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Let me make a point. Not just a little bit. You really have to be disciplined in managing your credit card usage. Otherwise, it's so easy to spiral. You really have to be disciplined in that, and don't put your credit card balances on a payment plan. If you will use a credit card, you make sure that whatever purchase you make within the purchase period, by the end of the grace period, you have paid the full balance off. If you don't, really what that means is that the money that you spent on your credit card, you actually didn't have the money. You actually borrowed to spend. But the idea of a credit card is money that you already have sitting in your bank account, but you're using the credit card as a payment method. And then once the month is over, you just move the money that you already have from your bank account to clear off the balance on the credit card.
exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. One other question I get a lot from students here in Germany or incoming students is, are students eligible to have loans in the various banks in Germany? We have resident permit, but it's not permanent. Our resident permit sometimes valid for a year, 2 or 3. And with these permits, are we allowed to take loans with the banks we are banking with, and with the kind of income we get as students, getting like 800 euros per month? Do our banks willing to give us loan if you want to survive in Germany and we need money for something urgent, for example, block account or something?
Yeah. In principle, anybody qualifies for a bank credit. In principle.
In principle.
Yeah. But whether or not you will get as a person is determinable when you visit an actual bank or you make an actual application, and then they look at your whole financial situation. One of the things that they look out for is your ability to pay back. In fact, that's the main thing they look out for, your ability to pay back. Now, let's say you are asking for a 10,000 euro loan. Yeah, you are able to pay 200 euros only 200 euros a month, and it's going to take you 5 years to pay, but you have a 2-year resident permit. Well, what happens if after the 2 years of your resident permit, your permit is either not renewed or you decide to leave and go back to where you came from? What happens to the credit? These credits are also usually unsecured. What that means is that the bank doesn't have any collateral backing this credit. So you get up, take your bag, you leave, they've lost whatever balance is left on your credit. The difficulty, or the reason why students would have difficulty borrowing, is because usually how long they will need to pay off the loan exceeds the permit the permit duration that they have. If you are able to structure a loan that you take and pay off within the permit period that you have, and your financial situation allows you to be able to pay off that loan, most banks will actually, I think a good number of banks will give you the loan. That being said, when it comes to the issue of taking loans, it's similar to credit cards, but it doesn't have the huge interest rate disadvantage with credit cards.
Yeah.
There are two things you do with loans. You either take a loan to consume or to invest. You take a loan to consume by buying clothes and traveling with it and all that, or to invest in a business, in a car if you need a car to
or your education,
or in your education. The main thing is, if you're taking a loan, you make sure whatever you're using the loan is able to give you returns to pay off the loan. That is when it becomes an investment. As much as you can, avoid taking a loan to consume. As much as you can, avoid taking a loan to consume. What that means is consume what you have already earned. Yeah. In fact, the best thing to even do is to plan ahead and say, okay, in 2 years' time, I will need to make this purchase. I'm starting today to save 25 euros every month for that purchase. So by the time it gets there, you already have it. You don't need to go and borrow. Yeah. So as much as you can, avoid borrowing. If you will, try and make sure it's for an investment.
Okay, thank you for that. One other main challenges for students here in Germany is the tax system. Tax class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know how many tax classes there are. Just a little bit. Can you explain briefly how the tax systems in Germany works? I don't know the tax class I am in. When I'm signing a contract, whatever tax class they put me, I can't even question them because I don't even know which one belongs to which one and which one belongs to which one. So can you clarify some of the tax classes, especially the one relating to students, and how the tax system worked a little bit in Germany?
Sure. Let me give you another specific disclaimer on this. So I'm not a Steuerberater in Germany. I'm not a tax advisor in Germany. This is not tax advice. This is just general information, general and publicly available information that I'm giving on how the tax system operates and how it applies to folks like students. Yeah.
Consider yourself warned.
As we can all see in this country, relatively nice and all that, it's because of essential tax that people pay in one way or the other. They have about 40 different taxes here in Germany. When it comes to personal taxes or personal income taxes, I want us to talk about two main things: the tax classes, the Steuerklassen, and the factors that go into each person's tax calculation, the main factors that go into that. There are 6 tax classes here in Germany, and the tax classes are determined by your marital status. That is the only thing that determines your tax class. Not whether you're a foreigner, whether you're a student, no, your marital status. So like I said, there are 6 tax classes. The first one, Steuer Class 1, is for singles like yourself, Promzy.
I never said I was single.
Are you married?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah,
Once you're not married, you are single. I'm not talking about
okay.
any other extracurricular things. I'm talking about legal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
So single people, those who are widowed, those who are separated, those who are divorced.
Okay.
That is Steuer Class 1. Single, widowed, separated, divorced. If you are separated in the first year of your separation, you are allowed to continue to keep your previous previous Steuer class up until the end of the year, and then from the following year you will move into Steuer Class 1. Steuer Class 2 are for single parents, or again separated people. So if you become separated, and you are the one taking care of, if there are any kids in the relationship, you are the one taking care of the kids, then you move to Steuer Class 2. So single parents, separated people. The reason why separated is in Steuer Class 1 and Steuer Class 2 in Germany, before you can get a divorce, the couple must have separated for at least 1 year. Yeah, before the laws allow you to divorce. So within that 1 year that you are separated, that's what we call the separated. Yeah. Now, Steuer Class 3, 4, and 5 are for married people. 3, 4, and 5 are for married people. 3 is when in the marriage one couple earns more than the other. And then the one who earns more, it's advantageous for that person to be Steuer Class 3. The one who earns less, Steuer Class 5. If they both earn about the same, then they both will be Steuer Class 4. Steuer Class 6 is the only Steuer class that is agnostic of your marital status. And it applies to second income or a second job or a side job. If you have any other job apart from your main job, that your main employment and your mini job, any other source of income that you get as a result of working, that goes into share class 6. The reason for all these different share classes is really simple. That is not what actually determines the tax you pay. What it determines is the personal tax exemption that you get. And this leads us into the conversation of how generally your tax is determined or calculated.
I have a question. So, when it comes to students, how much are we exempted when it comes to the tax system? Because I know some people get tax returns at the end of the year. As a lot of students get tax returns at the end of the year. So, how much are we exempted when it comes to paying taxes? Since we are in the tax class 1, how much is it? Like €1,000, 2,000, 20,000, or is it? Does it run forever?
So the exemption is not tied to your student status. It's tied to the share class. So if you are a student and married, and you are, one of you earns income, or the two of you earn income, but one earns more income than the other, one will be share class 3, the other will be share class 5. But the same student, if the person was single, they'll be share class 1. If that student was a single parent, they'll be share class 2. Yeah, and it's that share class that determines the personal tax exemption. Before I go into the exemptions, let me say that every person who lives in this country who is of age is expected to file taxes. You are expected to file taxes. The only people who are not really, if you don't file tax, the government doesn't care, is employees. And the reason is simple. Every month they get their money. It's deducted from your salary. Technically, those deductions from your salaries are a form of a withholding tax. They are not final taxes. Your final taxes are only determined when you file your taxes at the end of the year.
Wait, so you are saying at the end of the year, because I know students who don't file tax because they think
that's why I'm saying this.
Is it a must for us to pay tax to declare, how do you call it? Tax clearance. Yeah, to file your tax, or if you want, you can file tax, because for students, mostly it's the government that's paying us some huge amount of money. So if I don't file my tax, then the government takes the money. I don't want the government to be, it's somehow a little bit stressful booking appointment with Stoya Beraita to file your tax. So I know students who don't file their taxes. I file my taxes. Is it a must for us to do it, or since we're international students, we can decide not to file it, and after 2 years we leave the country and go wherever we are going to?
I strongly recommend that every student should file their taxes.
Okay.
I strongly recommend. You either work or you don't work. If you're not working, still file your taxes, because then there's no tax to pay. But file it anyway, because it becomes a record that you file taxes in the country. If you are working, taxes are being deducted from your income. Because there are personal exemptions and other allowable expenses that are deducted from your income before your final taxes are calculated, it may actually play to your advantage at the end of the year to file taxes, because there's a likelihood that you get a refund of the taxes that you would have already paid. If you don't file your taxes, you don't get a refund.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I strongly recommend for students to also file their tax. Now, when it comes to how you do it, you don't have to necessarily go to a Stoya Beraita to do it, because, well, my expectation is that for such students, their financial affairs will be relatively simple. Right now, there are many tools available, apps and online applications that you can use to file the taxes yourself. You don't need to go to a Stoya Beraita. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. I've been going to a Stoya Beraita for the past 3 years, so hopefully this year I'll try to do it myself.
I'm not saying don't go to a Stoya Beraita. No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
By all means, if you're not sure what you're doing, use a professional. But if you can read and understand things and follow instructions, you can file your taxes yourself. That's what I'm saying.
it looks like we really have a lot of things to talk about, but we definitely have a part 2 of this video where we dive more into investment and real estate. I think it would be a very nice conversation to have. But for now, I think we've come to the end of this section. Brah, Enoch, wifey.
We are fair.
We are fair. Sorry for that. So, do you have any last remark for students in Germany who are, of course, seeking to have a good life in terms of these financial stuff?
Actually, I do, but it's not finance related, or not directly finance related. What I would say to people is, don't come here and live life in your own corner. You don't get any benefit out of it. When you come, live life here. Put yourself out there in the society. Be involved in things that are going around you. That way, you get to understand how the society has been structured, and you're actually able to better make a decision for yourself whether you want to live here after you're done with your class, with your program, or you want to relocate back home or to some other place. You really are only able to make that decision if you put yourself out there and engage with the society. Secondly, before you can do that, you must make effort to learn the language. Learn Deutsch.
Learn Deutsch. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Wiafe. And thank you for having us on your channel. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me to have this discussion and to put out this information out there for people to also know and use that to plan. Thank you.
Okay. See you. Cheers.
Okay, so it looks like most advice people have to give to students who are coming to Germany or even continuing students here in Germany has to do with the language. The language is very important to you once you decide to live in Germany or school in Germany. It's very important. So I'm glad to introduce to you uTalk. So uTalk is an app that helps people who are trying to learn new languages. If you are finding it difficult to find a partner or someone to practice the language with, you can do this practice on the uTalk. It's very, very effective when it comes to improving your confidence, learning a new language, and learning new expressions and phrases in a new language. If you use the link in the description section, you get 30% off their packages. So click on the link and learn the language. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video. If you like this video, don't forget to like this video because it goes a long way to help the video in the YouTube algorithm, and also comment in the comment section below and subscribe to join the community. Like always, the name is Promzy and I'm signing out. Peace.